Trump did a better job. I don't like Trump, but we should have a secure border.
The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under Sleepy Joe Biden.
Sir.
And the prices are way down. Caroline?
Refuse to address, sir, what you just said, which is that you inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history, and you are fixing it in 10 short months. And your entire administration has been tasked with this effort, from Treasury Department to Agriculture Department to the National Economic Council right here at the White House. They are slashing regulation. He signed the largest middle-class tax cut in 6 months. In 6 months, in record time, putting more money back into the American people's pockets. So affordability is what the American people elected this president to do, and he is doing it, and you guys refuse to cover it, and you refuse to cover that the previous administration created the worst unaffordability crisis in American history. And I've been watching the TV all day saying that he doesn't want to talk about affordability. That's what he's working on every day, and that's what this administration is doing.
Some of the things that we'd pass if we terminated the filibuster. Voter ID, no mail-in voting, no cash bail, no men and women's sports, no welfare for illegals. You could go on and on. This is 2 pages of things we'd do if you did that. Without it, I don't know that you passed anything, because you can't deal with them. They're really irrational. They really are. But I was happy to see that a tremendous liability to this country, a woman that made herself rich in this country, Nancy Pelosi, has quit, and she'll be out of here pretty soon. And that, I consider that to be a great asset for America, getting her out. Yeah, please go.
Are you really going to deal with Democrats? You're not interested in
I don't know. We'll see what they have. I mean, we'll see. But they're very destructive for the country. NBC, fake news. I'm not taking you. Go ahead.
Can you guarantee to Americans that travel is going to go back to normal once the government all the air travel
better than normal. You know why?
When the government reopens.
Yeah, sure. It'll be much better than normal, because we're buying the most sophisticated avionics and technology for our control towers, and we didn't have that. We had a guy named Buttigieg. Edge, they say, is the best way. Just say 2 edges, like off the edge of a cliff, which is where they were taking us, by the way. Edge was the Secretary of Transportation, and he spent billions of dollars trying to patch together our air traffic control system, which was a conglomeration of all different systems in all different cities. They had hundreds of companies working on it, and they were spending billions of dollars. And when they turned it on, it didn't work. It didn't even work a little bit. That's why you had a helicopter crashing into an airplane, that if we had a great system, bells and whistles would have started going off.
White person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling.
One other thing, our country has to remain very liquid, because problems, catastrophes, wars, could be anything. We have to remain liquid. We can't give everything away based on a number. Here's an example. When I was president, the number that you're talking about was a tiny fraction of what it is now. Biden went totally crazy, gave it to anybody that would ask, gave it to people that were able-bodied, had no problem. Anybody that would ask, we get the number. And it's many times the number of people are on. That wasn't meant for that. It was meant for people that had real problems, in many cases people that were down and out, people that could be saved. It wasn't meant for people that could do whatever they want, the people that say, well, I don't think I'll work, I'll just collect this money.
Welcome back to another episode of our Lives of TikTok series. If you are new to this channel, take a quick moment to head on down, click the subscribe button and the bell.
Did you eat the rich? How did it taste?
Stale.
Who would be your favorite rich person to eat?
My favorite rich person to eat? Probably Elon Musk.
And do you think he's a negative for society, Elon Musk?
Yeah, I do. He just uses his money and tosses it around.
What do you think would happen if we got rid of all billionaires here in the United States?
I think we would have more to eat.
What do you think would happen to a lot of the jobs here in the United States?
If all the billionaires were gone, I think we would all have better wages.
After Elon Musk, who are you going to eat?
I was going to say Trump, but he would taste awful.
Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble. as they were for many years. That's why we owe $38 trillion. And one of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle income people and lower income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country. And nobody thinks it's going to be reversed. I think we had a very good court case. As you know, it's before the Supreme Court right now. But if that were ever reversed, people are saying, oh, it's $1 billion. Some people said, oh, it's $2 billion. Well, that obviously we can handle very easily. But this is trillions of dollars we're talking about in terms of the tariff income and all the investment income that's come into our country. We have more than, I would say right now, more than $18 trillion. The biggest number ever is a tiny fraction of that for any country. China, the United States, the biggest number ever. If you look at the past administration, Biden, he did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We're over $18 trillion. By the time my first year ends, we're going to have over $20 trillion of investment coming into the United States. It's unheard of.
I was told by probably a dozen people not to tell you this. I'm going to tell it to you anyway, because it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS. I had strong Trump derangement syndrome for probably 8 years. This is one of the reasons I recovered from it. And by the way, it's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier, I'm healthier, more successful. I even think I got a little more attractive after I got rid of my Trump derangement syndrome. Yes. And now I find you quite funny, actually.
She's a liar and a mean person. She's a nut job. I watched her the other night. She's all hopped up endorsing a communist in New York City. And she was all excited and jumping up and down. She's got to take a drug test. She really does. She's got to take a drug test. There's no way somebody can act that way and be normal.
I own stock in something, and I do a good job, and the stock market goes up. I guess I'm profiting. But who really profits is somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who uses inside information. She worked for $175,000 a year, and that's at the high end, and she's worth $150, $200 million. Okay? You ought to look at Nancy Pelosi, and you ought to look at some of these politicians that are stone cold crooks. I was very wealthy when I came in. Being president, I probably cost me money if you really look.
Freedom is on the line.
You mean like the freedom of not having to look over your shoulder because you're scared that someone's going to hurt you or kill you, like what happened to Laken Riley in Georgia when the illegal immigrant killed her?
No, not looking over your shoulder like when people are going to kidnap you off the street and take you into ICE and send you to a foreign country.
But if they're here illegally, that should happen. If they're here illegal, that's not happening.
But they're doing it to everybody.
They're not doing it to legal people, sir.
Yes, they are,
Sir.
Yes, they are.
I don't know where you've been seeing that news, but where are you getting yours? CNN?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Well, then it makes sense then, yeah. Mainstream media? The ones that said that Biden wasn't senile. The ones that said that Biden was sharp as a tack, right? Wait, am I wrong though? Because Jake Tapper apologized for lying about saying that Biden was sharp as a tack. Biden had dementia. They should have given him the 25th Amendment.
He's one of the best presidents we have.
What did he do? You mean the fact that he's a dictator for arresting Trump? But you guys want to say Trump's a dictator? I don't think a dictator would allow a protest called No Kings. But you want to walk away. Typical liberal CNN bot always wants to walk away.